In El Salvador, tragedy at a professional soccer match.
Lambrándose verga, mira. Ahí están subiendo mujeres y niños, mira, puta, como que fuera película.
The screams overheard, fans trying to communicate with one another. Sadly, 12 people would pass away from the stampede.
You can see some of the injured being carried away by emergency services. And this all happened during a soccer match between two local rival teams. Initial reports suggest that a large number of fans tried to rush the gates and enter the venue after the gates were closed, causing a crush, killing at least 12 people and injuring dozens of others.
The game would be suspended. Fans in El Salvador would pay their respects to the catastrophic loss of life. In videos from fans on the ground, you could see how those in attendance at the entrance gate were getting pressed onto one another. Here's what we know thus far. CBS News wrote fans had tickets, which was unclear at first, and thus, after not being allowed entry, knocked down an access gate to the stadium. Via the Times, the director of the national police in the country gave a possible, not concrete cause. The stadium's Wi-Fi went out with the number of attendees, causing QR codes not to scan. Here's my question. This is a stadium that has housed a capacity of more than 44,000 at a time. Why suddenly would it go out? Furthermore, police director Mauricio Ariaza Chicas said some fans forced entry into the stadium, adding there is speculation tickets were oversold. As a reminder, when police put out statements such as these, including events as big as this, or even the Champions League final last year in Paris, when controversy erupted at the entrance gates, the authorities blamed visiting fans initially. After investigations, those reports were deemed invalid, leaving many supporters to demand an apology. NBC News would report from El Salvador, play was suspended about 16 minutes into the match when fans in the stands waving frantically began getting the attention of those on the field and carrying the injured out of a tunnel and down to the pitch. Dozens made it onto the field, where they received medical treatment. Fans who escaped the crush stood on the field, furiously waving shirts, attempting to review people lying on the grass, barely moving. Diego Armando, a 14-year-old attendee, told Newser there were so many people that the small gate couldn't support them, and it went down. I fell, and my body from my waist to my feet was crushed. 5 people pulled me free and saved me by a miracle. 2 people in front of me died. I spoke to one, and he did not move. Civil Protection Director Luis Amaya said about 500 people have been tended to at the stadium, and about 100 were taken to hospitals. At least 2 of the injured transported to hospitals were reported in critical condition. Tomas Renderos, a fan of Alianza, said after departing a hospital, "It was a night of terror. I never thought something like this would happen to me. Fortunately, I only have a few bruises, but not everyone had my luck." Another fan, speaking with La Prensa Grafica, said there were only 2 gates open in the whole stadium. The people outside wanted to force their way in. They all fell on us. It was described as a human avalanche. Sandra Argueta, another attendee, claimed a second gate had been torn down to get some air because there were a lot of people and we were suffocating. People of all ages were in the stampede. As Al Jazeera notes, the tragedy comes 7 months after 135 people, including more than 40 children, died in a stampede following a match in Indonesia. And in May of 1964, more than 300 people died when clashes broke out between police and attendees and an Olympic qualifying match between Argentina and Peru.